All right, continuing with an effort to improve the quality of our animation here. We were looking at the DE stop. We started with 1.6. We tried a 1, and then we tried a 0.5. We don't really seem to be helping ourselves anymore. As a matter of fact, with this 0.5, we're starting to pick up oversampling. See all these white dots down here? So let's do something else. Let's, we started with 1.6. Let's put a 2 in there. Calculate. Okay, we have less white dots, but we still have our hashing going on. All right, but basically what I've done with that DE stop of 2 is I've kind of lost some details. I've kind of lost some details, but I still have a lot of this hashing going on. So here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put this back to 1.6, which is where I wrote it down, so I remember. And I'm going to go to the ray stop multiplier. All right, now this is basically kind of the factor. It will take the DE stop, which is, we're telling it, to stop slightly short, and it applies a factor to that whole thing. The ray stop multiplier applies a factor to the DE stop value. So this 0.5 would basically, and I'm making an educated guess here, would basically apply a factor of 0.5 to the DE stop. So let's do this. Let's put that as a 1, and let's calculate it. All right, well, the situation is worse now. It's much worse. Now, if you recall way back in previous sessions, I was talking about the idea of using the DE stop and the ray step multiplier to kind of walk in the quality that you want. All right, and that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to. All I can do is just make the modification to the parameter value and try it. That's all I can do. So the ray step multiplier going from 0.5 to 1 made our situation worse. So that tells me, well, maybe what I need to do is to go to a 0.2. Now that's gonna increase our rendering time, but we're trying to find a solution here. Now that dramatically increased my rendering time, but look what I've got. Look at this. All right, that hashing problem is mostly eliminated down in here. Look at that. These are much better. And all that hashing that was going on out here is much better. Let's look at this from a larger perspective. All right, boy, that scene looks much better. But I've increased my render time, but that's just, hey, if you want quality, sometimes that's what you got to do. Now I've got a 0.2 now, and now I'm kind of wondering, well, what if I was to lower my DE stop? Would it help in here too? We are making good progress here in terms of quality. 1.2, calculate. All right, so 1.2, I still have a bunch of white dots here, which indicates oversampling. And when the ray step algorithm oversamples, it results in not understanding where that point, that pixel would be, and basically assigns it a white. Or it could be a black, but basically it's a failed ray step ray. All right, but and going from 1.6 to 1.2 didn't really help me much in terms of in here. All right, but I'll tell you what, that ray step multiplier is what got me the greatest value in terms of quality so far. But look, this is what we've got to do. We've just got to experiment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a DE stop of 1, and I'm going to raise this to 0.3. All right, and we're going to recalculate this. I'm just trying to find a balance between the two for an acceptable quality out on my scene. Ray stop 1, DE stop of 1 and ray step multiplier of 0.3. Let's calculate that, see what happens. Okay, all right, yeah, I'm starting to lose quality. You see this here? It's starting to hash out. Now, by the way, that took 12 seconds to render. All right, so 12 seconds times, 4,000 subframes, that sort of thing. All right, but I'm beginning to lose quality, primarily up in this area right here. That's beginning to hash out. All right, so I definitely do want a ray step multiplier of at least 2. And I'm going to go crazy, and I'm going to put the DE stop down to 0.8. Calculate. Okay. All right. So look. All right. This is 0.2 and 0.8. I'm getting a lot of white dots in here, which indicates oversampling. So I don't think that my DE stop of 0.8 is quite where I want to be. I'm getting a lot of white dots all through the scene here. See all those white dots there? Doing a lot of oversampling. So I don't think that the DE stop of 0.8 is quite right. I'm going to go back to a DE stop of 1.2. Calculate. Okay. You see how I have less white dots in here? All right, so a DE stop of 1.2 is better at the 0.2 ray step multiplier. I'm probably never going to be able to completely solve any of this stuff in here, but all of this is much improved, much improved. All right, much improved. Okay, so I'm going to do one more thing. Let's see here. Step count for binary search. Okay, I could. It reads, defines how accurate the position with the defined distance to the surface will be calculated. Higher values lead to more accuracy, which leads also to better normal calculation. Much more than 12 is rarely needed. Here's what I'm going to do. I feel that I have a good compromise with my DE stop and the ray step multiplier. I'm going to pump that up to 10. All right, now, step width limiter. Okay, we don't really need that. Step count for binaries. Okay, well, all right. Smooth normals. Okay. We're going to leave that alone. All right. One little tip is don't go too far in terms of these parameters. Don't go too far too soon. Step it up, walk it up. Look, the quality of your final graphic is important. Don't get yourself lost with all of this stuff. All you can really do is put a value in, calculate it, see what you got, look at it, put a value in again. You just have to kind of walk it in. That's just the nature of the tool set. All right, so we're gonna do one more render. Now I did increase the step count from 8 to 10. Let's see what we got. Okay, now all right, now my render time per subframe is up to 19 seconds now. So 19 seconds times 4,000 subframes or whatever you got, 10,000, 30,000. You can do the math, okay? So not too bad, not too bad. Okay, so I'm I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. All right, now when we come back to the next session, we're going to take these quality properties and we're going to apply it to all keyframes. So you don't want to miss that. I'll see you in the next session.